Hi, I'm Suweida Abduwahab. I'm a freshman at Augsburg and I'm a biology major. I really love reading and I really love books, and I don't really agree with the idea of banning books in schools because I feel like students should have the opportunity to choose what they gather from school, and when you're limiting people, I don't really like that. So yeah, that's why I wanted to do this. I'm going to be reading They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. September 5th, 2017. Mateo Torres, 12:22 a.m. Deathcast is calling with the warning of a lifetime. I'm going to die today. Forget that warning. It's too strong a word, since warning suggests something that can be avoided. Like a car honking at someone who's crossing the street when it isn't their light, giving them the chance to step back. This is more of a heads up, the alert. A distinctive and endless gong, like a church bell 1 block away. It's blasting from my phone on the other side of the room. I'm freaking out already, 100 thoughts immediately drowning out everything around me. I bet this chaos is what a first-time skydiver feels as she's plummeting out of a plane, or a pianist playing his first concert. Not that I will ever know for sure. It's crazy. 1 minute ago, I was reading yesterday's blog entry from Countdowners, where deckers chronicle their final hours through statuses and photos via live feeds. This particular one about a college junior trying to find a home for his golden retriever, and now I'm going to die. I'm going to no. Yes. Yes. My chest tightens. I'm dying today. I've always been afraid of dying. I don't know why I thought this would jinx it from actually happening. Not forever, obviously, but long enough so I could grow up. Dad has even been drilling it into my head that I should pretend I'm the main character of a story that nothing bad ever happens to. Most especially death, because the hero has to be around to save the day. But the noise in my head is quieting down, and there's a death cast herald on the other end of the phone, waiting to tell me I'm going to die today at 18 years old. Wow. I don't want to pick up the phone. I'd rather run into Dad's bedroom and curse into a pillow because he chose the wrong time to land himself in intensive care. Or punch a wall because my mom marked me for an early death when she died giving birth to me. The phone rings for what's got to be the 13th time. I can't avoid it anymore, more than I can avoid what's going down sometime today. I slide my laptop off my crossed legs, and I get up from my bed, swaying to the side, feeling really faint. I'm like a zombie moving toward my desk, slow and walking dead. The caller ID reads Deathcast. Of course, I'm shaking but manage to press talk. I don't say anything. I'm not sure what to say. I just breathe because I have fewer than 28,000 breaths left in me, the average number of breaths a non-dying person takes per day, and I might as well use them up while I can. Hello, I'm calling from Deathcast. I'm Andrea. You there, Timothy? Timothy? My name isn't Timothy. You've got the wrong person, I tell Andrea. My heart settles down, even though I feel for this Timothy person. I truly do. My name is Mateo. I got the name from my father, and he wants me to pass it down eventually. Now I can, if having kids is a thing that happens for me. Computer keys are tapping on her end, probably correcting the entry or something in her database. Oh, apologies, Timothy. Timothy is a gentleman I just got off the phone with. He didn't take the news very well, poor thing. You're Mateo Torres, right? And just like that, my last hope is obliterated. Mateo, kindly confirm this is indeed you. I'm afraid I have many other calls to make tonight. I always imagined my herald, their official name, not mine, would sound sympathetic and ease me into the news. Maybe even harp on how it's especially tragic because I'm so young. To be honest, I would have been okay with her being chipper, telling me how I should have fun and make the most of the day, since I at least know what's going to happen. That way I'm not stuck at home starting 1,000-piece puzzles I'll never finish, or masturbating because sex with an actual person scares me, but this herald makes me feel like I should stop wasting her time, because unlike me, she has so much of it. Okay, Mateo, it's me. I'm Mateo. Okay, Mateo's me. I'm Mateo. Mateo, I regret to inform you that sometime in the next 24 hours, you'll be meeting an untimely death. And while there isn't anything we can do to suspend that, you still have a chance to live. The herald goes on about how life isn't always fair, then lists some events I could participate in today. I shouldn't be mad at her, but it's obvious she's bored, reciting these lines that should have been burned into memory from telling hundreds, maybe thousands about how they'll soon be dead. She has no sympathy to offer me. She's probably filing her nails or playing tic-tac-toe against herself as she talks to me. On Countdowners, Deckers post entries about everything from their phone call to how they're spending their end day. It's basically Twitter for Deckers. I've read tons of feeds where Deckers admitted to asking their heralds how they would die, but it's basic knowledge that those specifics aren't available to anyone. Not even former President Reynolds, who tried to hide from death in an underground bunker 4 years ago and was assassinated by one of his own Secret Service agents. Deathcast can only provide a date for when someone is going to die, but not the exact minute or how it'll happen. Do you understand all of this? Yeah? Log on to deathcast.com and fill out any special requests you Log into deathcast.com and fill out any special requests you may have for your funeral, in addition to the inscription you'd like engraved on your headstone, or perhaps you'd like to be cremated, in which case, I've only ever been to one funeral. My grandmother died when I was 7, and at her funeral I threw a tantrum because she wasn't waking up. Fast forward 5 years when Deathcast came into the picture, and suddenly everyone was awake at their own funerals. Having the chance to say goodbye before you die is an incredible opportunity. But isn't that the time better spent actually living? Maybe I would feel differently if I could count on people showing up to my funeral, if I had more friends than I do fingers. And Timothy, on behalf of everyone here at Deathcast, we are so sorry to lose you. Live this day to the fullest, okay? I'm Mateo. I'm sorry about that, Mateo. I'm mortified. It's been a long day, and these calls can be so stressful. And I hang up, which is rude, I know. But I can't listen to someone tell me what a stressful day she's been having when I might drop dead in the next hour or even the next 10 minutes. I could choke on a cough drop. I could leave my apartment to do something with myself and fall down the stairs and snap my neck before I even make it outside. Someone could break in and murder me. The only thing I can confidently rule out is dying of old age. I sink to the floor, on my knees. It's all ending today, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. I can't journey across dragon-infested lands to retrieve scepters that can halt death. I can't hop onto a flying carpet in search of a genie to grant my wish for a full and simple life. I could maybe find some mad scientists to cryogenically freeze me, but the chances are I'd die in the middle of that wacky experiment. Death is inevitable for everybody, and that's an absolute for me today. The list of people I will miss, if the dead can miss anyone, is so short, I shouldn't even call it a list. There's Dad, for doing his best, my best friend Lydia, not only for not ignoring me in the hallways, but for actually sitting down across from me in lunch, partnering with me in earth science, and talking to me about how she wants to become an environmentalist, which will save the world, and I can repay her by living in it. And that's it. If someone were interested in my list of people I won't miss, I'd have nothing for them. No one has ever wronged me, and I even get why some people didn't take a shot on me. Really, I do. I'm such a paranoid mess. The few times I was invited to do something fun with classmates, like roller skating in the park or going for a drive late at night, I bowed out because we might be setting ourselves up for death. Maybe. I guess that's what I'll miss. I guess that's what I'll miss most, are the wasted opportunities to live my life to the and lost potential to make great friends. With everyone I sat next to for 4 years, I'll miss how we never got to bond over sleepovers, where everyone stayed up and played Xbox at infinity and board games all night, all because I was too scared. The number one person I'll miss the most is future Mateo, who maybe loosened up and lived. It's hard to picture him clearly, but I imagined future Mateo trying out new things, like smoking pot with friends, getting a driver's license, and hopping on a plane to Puerto Rico to learn more about his roots. Maybe he's dating someone, and maybe he likes that company. He probably plays piano for his friends, sings in front of them, and would definitely have a crowded funeral service, one that would stretch over an entire weekend after he's gone, one where the room is packed with new people who didn't get a chance to hug him one last time. Future Mateo would have a longer list of friends he'll miss, but I will never grow up to be future Mateo. No one will ever get high with me, no one will be my audience as I play piano, and no one will shotgun in my dad's car after I get my license. I'll never fight with friends over who gets the better bowling shoes or who gets to be Wolverine when we play video games. I collapse back onto the floor and thinking about how it's do or die now, not even that. Do and then die. 12:42 a.m. Dad takes hot showers to cool down whenever he's upset or disappointed in himself. I copied him around the time I turned 13 because confusing Mateo thoughts surface and I needed tons of Mateo time to sort through them. I'm showering now because I feel guilty for hoping the world, or some part of it beyond Lydia and my dad, will be sad to see me go. Because I refuse to live invincibly on all the days I didn't get an alert. I wasted all those yesterdays and am completely out of tomorrows. I'm not going to tell anyone except Dad, but he's not even awake, so it doesn't even count. I don't want to spend my last day wondering if people are being genuine when they throw sad words at me. No one should spend their last hours second guessing people. I've got to get out into the world, though, trick myself into thinking it is any other day. I've got to see Dad at the hospital and hold his hand for the first time since I was a kid, and for what will be the last time ever. I'll be gone before I can adjust to my mortality. I'll also have to see Lydia and her 1-year-old Penny. Lydia named me Penny's godfather when the baby was born, and it sucks how I'm the person expected to take care of her in case Lydia passes away, since Lydia's boyfriend Christian died a little over a year ago. Sure, how is an 18-year-old with no income going to take care of a baby? Short answer, he isn't. But I was supposed to get older and tell Penny stories of her world-saving mother and her chill father and welcome her into my home when I was financially secure and emotionally prepared to do so. Now I'm being whisked out of her life before I can become more than some guy in a photo album who Lydia may tell stories about, during which Penny will nod her head, maybe make fun of my glasses, and then flip the page to the family she actually knows and cares about. I won't even be a ghost to her. But that's no reason to not go and tickle her one more time, or wipe squash and green peas off her face, or give Lydia a little break so she can focus on studying for her GED, or brush her teeth, or comb her hair, or take a nap. After that, I will somehow pull myself away from my best friend and her daughter, and I will have to go and live. I turn off the faucet, and the water stops raining down on me. Today isn't the day for an hour shower. I grab my glasses off the sink and I put them on. I step out of the tub, slipping on a puddle of water while falling backwards. I'm expecting to see if that theory of your life flashing before your eyes carries out any truth to it when I grab a hold of the towel rack and catch myself. I breathe in and out, because dying this way would just be an extremely unfortunate way to go. Someone would add me to the Shower KO feed on Dumb Death's blog, a high-traffic site that grosses me out on so many levels. I need to get out of here and live, but first I have to make it out of this apartment alive. 12:56 a.m. I write thank you notes for my neighbors in 4F and 4A, telling them it's my end day. With Dad in the hospital, Elliot in 4F has been checking in on me. bringing me dinner, especially since our stove has been busted for the past week after I tried making Dad's empanadas. Sean in 4A was planning on stopping by on Saturday to fix the stove burner, but it's not necessary anymore. Dad will know how to fix it and might need a distraction when I'm gone. I go into my closet and pull out the blue-gray flannel shirt Lydia got me for my 18th birthday, then put it over my white t-shirt. I haven't worn it outside yet. The shirt is now how I get to keep Lydia close today. I check my watch, an old one of Dad's he gave me after buying a digital one that could glow for his bad eyes. And it's close to 1 a.m. On a regular day, I would be playing video games until late at night, even if it meant going to school exhausted. At least I could fall asleep during my free periods, but I shouldn't have taken those frees for granted. I should have taken up another class like art, even though I can't draw to save my life, or do anything to save my life, obviously. And I want to say that's neither here nor there, but it's pretty much everything, isn't it? Maybe I should have joined band and played piano and gotten some recognition before working my way up to singing in the chorus. Then maybe a duet with someone cool. And then maybe braving a solo. Heck, even the theater could be fun if I got to play a role that forced me to break out. But no, I elected for another free period when I could shut down and nap. It's 12:58 a.m. When it hits 1, I am forcing myself out of this apartment. It's been both my sanctuary and my prison, and for once I need to go breathe in the outside air instead of tearing it through to get from point A to point B. I have to count trees, maybe sing a favorite song while dipping my feet in the Hudson, and just do my best to be remembered as the young man who died too early. It's 1 a.m. I can't believe I'm never returning to this bedroom. I unlock the front door, turn the knob, and pull the door open. I shake my head and slam the door shut. I'm not walking out into a world that would kill me before my time.
My name is Mohamed, and right now I'm undecided majors, and I'm here to read one of the banned books that looks pretty interesting to me. Yeah. The book is called Dreaming in Cuban. The author of the book is named Christina Garcia. The chapter is named A Grove of Lemons. It's hot as hell when I finally get off that bus. The sun is burning my scalp, so I can duck into lunchonetta. Everything looks acquainted, like the 5 and dime counters in New York. They're the best places to get a BLT, so that's why I order here, with an orange soda. If I call my father's parents, forget it. I'll be on the next plane to New York. Abuela Zaida, my grandmother, would crow for days about how mom can't control me, how I'm rushing wild like the American kids, with no respect for their elders. Those two hate each other from way back. Something happened between them before I was born. There's one cousin down here who's not too bad. His nickname is Blanquito. Because he's so white, he has to wear a hat and t-shirt, even when he's swimming. I got to know him at Abuela Guillermo's 80th birthday 2 years ago in Miami. I figure if I can get a hold of him, he'll hide me for a day or two, then take me to Key West, where I'll get a boat to Cuba. Maybe he'll even come with. It's Saturday, so I'll have to go looking for him at home. The only problem is the entire Puente tribe particularly lives at his house. Blanquito's parents have one of those ranch-style jobs in Coral Gables with a pool in the back. The rest of his family lives in apartments, so on weekends, my uncle gathers there to watch football and eat themselves sick. I look up the number in the phone book. Blanquito's mother answers, so I hang up. I recognize his breathy voice anywhere. She's also on the verge of collapsing from one imaginary illness or another. Last I heard, she thinks she has lumbago. That's nothing compared to some of the other diseases she says she suffered from. Tetanus, malaria, sprue, typhus, you name it. She had it. Her diseases are usually tropical, debilitating, but only occasionally deadly. I stopped in a church not far from their house. I swore I'd never set foot in anything remotely Catholic again. But it feels good to get out of the sun. It's dim and cool, and blue and red dots float in front of my eyes, like after somebody snaps a flash of picture. I remember how the nuns got upset when I called the Spanish inquisitors Nazis. My mother pleaded with the nuns to take me back. Catholics are always dying to forgive somebody. So if you say you're sorry, you're usually home free. But this time they said I'd gone too far. Our neighborhood was mostly Jewish then, and my mother was always saying they killed Christ. They pushed in the crown of thorns. I felt sorry for the Jews getting thrown out Egypt and having to drag themselves across the desert to find a home. Even though I've been living in Brooklyn all my life, it doesn't feel like home to me. I'm not sure Cuba is, but I want to find out. If I could only see Abuela Ciela again, I'd know where I belonged. The last time I got kicked out of Mertes and Saints, the school nurse recommended psychiatrist whose name was Dr. Vincent Prince. Tell me about your urge to mutilate the human form, he asked me. He looked the real Vincent Prince too, with the same widow's peak and goatee. Mom must have told him about my paintings. What could I say? That my mother is driving me crazy? That I miss my grandmother and I wish I never left Cuba? That I want to be a famous artist someday? That a paintbrush is better than a gun, so why doesn't everybody just leave me alone? Painting is its own language. I want to tell him. Translations just confuse it, dilute it, like words going from Spanish to English. I envy my mother. Her Spanish curses sometimes. They make my English collapse in a heap. Dr. Prince told Mom that we should start some mother and daughter activities. That I was starved for a female primate or something like that. So she enrolled us in a flamenco class in a studio over Carnegie Hall. Our teacher, Mercedes Garcia, was a bosomy woman with a jackhammer feet who taught us how to drop our heels in its time to her claps and castanets. Our first lesson was also stamping, first as a group, then individually across the floor. What a thunder we made. Mercedes singled me out. A protest, yes. See how she carries herself? Perfecto. A C. Mom watched me closely. I could read in her face that we wouldn't return. The light refracts through the stained glass windows into a long fan of blues. Why do they always have to ruin places like this with religion? I think about the king-size crucifix nailed to the front of my old principal's desk. Christ's wounds were painted in day-glow colors. The gash of his side where the nuns told us the last of his bodily fluids poured out. The beads of blood staining his forehead, the wounds where his hands and feet hung from spikes. The nuns knew from grief all right. I still remember how in third grade Sister Mary Joseph told Francis Zenowitz that her baby brother was going to limbo because her parents didn't baptize him before he died. Frances cried like a baby. Herself, with her face all screwed up, that day I stopped praying. Before I stopped praying altogether for the souls in purgatory and devoted to all Hail Marys to the kids in limbo, even though I knew it probably wouldn't do them any good. I still don't know what I'm supposed to do next. All I could think of the whole way down to Florida was getting here. Now that I'm here and sitting in a church of all places, I haven't gotten a clue. My mind wears this way and that, weighing the alternatives, then grinds to a halt under the strain. The shop along the Miracle Mile look incredible, old-fashioned. It's like all the mannequins have been modeled after astronaut's wives. Who could ever have thought a beehive was attractive? I imagine these men sitting in a fashion control centers around the world thinking of new ways to torture women, new ways to make them wince. 20 years from now, when they look at old photographs of themselves. I had a friend in grammar school whose mother wore hot pants and white linen, go-go boots, just like Nancy Sinatra. I mean, who was she trying to impress? It's getting late. The sky looks like a big bruise of purples and oranges. It's funny how the land is so flat and the buildings so low. The sky seems to take over everything, announcing itself in a way you can't ignore. In New York, the sky gets too much competition. All the streets in Coral Gables have Spanish names: Sokovia, Ponce de Leon, Alhambra, as if they're expecting all the Cubans who would eventually live here. I read somewhere that the area started off as just another Florida landscape. Now it's one of the richest neighborhoods of Miami, with huge Spanish colonial houses and avenues of shade trees. I suppose if enough people believe in the hype, anything is possible. There are lights in every room of my cousin's house, and several of my uncle's junky cars are in the driveway. I make my way along the south wall of the house, past a clump of banana trees, still green with miniature fruit. I hear voices coming from the kitchen. It's Abuela Ziera and Bulaquito's mother, or Ziera Abuela is complaining that there was too much salt in ropa vieja, that the high blood pressure runs in the family, and that Rosiera should be careful not to aggravate their condition. Abuela Ziera always speaks in collective we, meaning her and her husband and her 8 sons. All the daughters-in-law are never we but you.